Hey, this is Richard, and welcome to this week's Sermon Spark Notes. Last week, we wrapped up our Good Neighbors sermon series, and we looked at some common hurdles that you might have that you need to overcome in becoming a good neighbor. Also, we took a look at some next steps that you and I might need to take to be able to become a good neighbor. I wanted to take a moment just to highlight a few of those next steps to maybe jog your memory about ones that were speaking to you last Sunday. The first one was to have margin, both time and money, set aside, to be able to meet your neighbor's needs when they come up. They don't always work on a schedule, so make time to make margin. Second is to learn the names of your actual neighbors. So pull out a piece of paper, make a grid, and write down the names of those neighbors that live closest to you. If you can't name them, then figure out a way to meet them and get to know them. Next one is to be present. I want you to think about wherever you're at in your daily routine. Just be willing to be present and have your spiritual antenna on. Be willing to see God use you in those specific areas. As you meet people, as you interact with them, how can you encourage them? Another one is to allow your neighbors to help you. So forming true relationships goes both ways. And so just encourage you, if there's something that you need, be willing to reach out to your neighbor, see if they can meet that need, and they're more willing to come to you in those times as well. Another one is to ask questions. So when you're in a conversation with someone, be really engaged and just be willing to ask questions that may open up more dialogue, may allow you to be able to share your story, your testimony, and hopefully bring the hope of God and God's grace into the situation. Also, just a very practical one, I guess, would be Pray for Jax. I shared the sermon, my experience that I had this past Pray for Jax, and I just encourage you to make it a point to make it to one of the upcoming ones. The next one is going to be the first Thursday of June, which would be June 2nd. So hopefully I'll see you there. And lastly, maybe your next step is to go on a missions trip. Whether it's here with Awaken Church the next time we have one, or there's always lots of missionary organizations. If God's calling you to go somewhere, then I just want you to be willing to step out in faith and do that. This last Sunday, I asked you just to be praying about what your next step might be. Today, I just want to encourage you to make plans for that next step. Talk to someone about how they might be able to help you or might be able to hold you accountable to taking that next step. I know I'd love to be that person. I'd love to hear what God is putting on your heart and how I might be part of that, or how we at Awaken Church might be part of that. I hope you guys are encouraged this week and look forward to hearing more about the next steps God's calling you to. You guys be blessed.